Welcome to the Royal Court of Fairy Godmother Gaming World. I'm the Scribe. If you are ready to win, remember to put on your magic feet compression socks, the equipment for winners and heroes. Pick a pair today. A bit lower. Alright, I am so excited. Let me get used to all these emotes. They're so different from D2. Wow, this is before you have a gun. So I do want to go ahead and start off with some of the most amazing scenery in the game. Honestly, hands down, so
I didn't bring you
cool.
back just for you to die again. We have to move.
I'm gonna try my best to not talk over the cutscenes. Now the dialogue that does happen with Ghost and I, and then any of my friends who do join in for today's stream, is unfortunate. We do have the subtitles on, so I'm gonna keep that on.
I need you to
as
trust me on
well.
this.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go through a little bit throughout the first mission, and I'm gonna be talking about today's topic, the silent protagonist. So what's interesting is the silent protagonist for movies, games, anything you can really think of has been there, is a popular choice for protagonists in games just because it can be hit or miss. Some games that do handle the silent protagonist very well is Doom Guy from Doom, Shell from Portal. We also have a game I was playing a few days ago was Obzu. Nobody in there talks at all, so you have that going on. You also have this character, the Young Wolf. If you haven't played Rise of Iron, sorry, that's been out a while, but we eventually get the name Young Wolf, so we're gonna go with that for this character. Now I wanna bring us right here so we can get a good look at the scenery as well. I'm gonna touch base on that. It's gonna be more about the Young Wolf than anything else at this point in time. So I do want to go ahead and point out that this game does take place in a post-apocalyptic setting. As if you couldn't tell with the rusting cars, the walls that are crumbling, and well, just the overall eeriness and loneliness. You're also being chased by these hostile creatures that want to kill you for no reason other than just murder at this point. I'll start playing with my friend Bo, who's gonna be working along with me, giving me some of their input on everything. So it's gonna be kind of great, and kind of exciting.
Another one of these hardened military systems, and a few centuries of entropy working against me. They're coming for us.
Here, I found a rifle. Grab it.
Fascinating. Interesting that I think that's one of the first times that the Fallen don't attack you. You're right here, you know, you have no weapon. They just all went away. Pretty interesting. Also like that before the marker came up, Ghost appears as a friendly hello on your radar.
I hope you know how to use that thing.
Now if we look around in this environment, we can see just how bad the world has become. Everything is rusted. There's exposed electrical wires, water running through. There's, you know, after I come through here, there's gonna be bodies all over the ground. It's, you know, pretty wild. It's one of the first things that we see.
There's more ahead.
Which is super important. You always really want to set in that tone of the story early on. We can see it in the story in the trailer in the beginning, where there's these three astronauts going to Mars. This triumphant music. We hear in the beginning as well the speaker explain like, hey, this was the golden age. Everything was great. Everything was cool. But travelers started doing something funny, and then we see the dark side of everything starting to come into play very, very quickly. None of us were prepared for it. regardless of our advances in technology. They even said that the human lifespan tripled. So it's a lot of great things happened, but just as quickly as it happened, it all went to hell. So let me go ahead and keep talking about the silent protagonist. So far as what we've been playing, our character has yet to have spoken. All we can see is that they speak through the emotions that are given to us on the controller. There we go, pointing, we get dancing immediately, how to wave and how to sit. I think that's super interesting that those are really early options that you can pick. I know my first playthrough for Destiny, one of the first thing I did was dance, because I was like, okay, let's figure out the buttons, let's see what this does, let's see what that does.
This was
So
an
it
old
already
Cosmodrome.
brings in
There's
a
gotta be something we can fly up
light-hearted
here.
sense of humor to, I
Incoming.
mean, such a desolate place. Like, look at that.
Fallen ships. This close to the
Like,
surface.
let me
Move.
take this back a little bit slow. Look at that. Things are just collapsing. That catch over there just came in, gave no hell at all about it. Just, no, we're gonna knock over these towers. Yeah, whatever. We don't care. You see these giant towers of ships. Now, if you look at it close enough, you can see multiple rocket ships and so much cargo. The amount of power that would take to launch is almost unthinkable, honestly. For one to launch for rockets, it, depending the size, it can rip a hole in the ozone layer, and it takes about the Earth 24-ish hours, give or take, to completely repair that. That's, from what we can see, you know, I think one on each side, 4. And there was more down there. The more we explore the Cosmodrome, the more we can see those towers of rockets just everywhere. And this is just the Cosmodrome. You know, you can already start, just from the little bit of those visual storytelling, you can see that they were just desperate to get out of here. There was, who cares if the ozone layer was going to get destroyed? Who cares if it took 10 years, if not longer, for it to get fixed? You know, they have other planets they can go to. It was an act of desperation, you know, to prevent extinction of humanity. They did not care. They had no qualms about anything. And then you can see that it was just all for nothing. The character you play as still died. We're gonna ignore a lot of the D2 things that they did bring in, just because things will start getting a little complicated and a little crazy, especially if the character you made is an Exo or an Awoken. I'm gonna clear these guys out just a bit.
I'm picking up signs of an old jump ship. Could be our ticket out of here.
So as we go on through the story, our character has yet to have said anything. Still, so far it's just been our Ghost. So Ghost does have a few different titles. Some of them, I think the most popular one and the most fitting one would be the Exposition Ferry. Now what that is somebody who, well, as you can see what Ghost is saying, is like, hey, go over here, hey, do this, hey, do that. Walking, talking tutorial, essentially. But he's also a voice in this. Another character and another series that's really great about this, two come to mind. The first one that came up was Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The exposition fairy was Navi. She's probably where they got the name from, which is really cool because I know a lot of people don't like Navi, but I know when I was first playing Ocarina of Time, I didn't know what anything did. It was hard, it was confusing, I didn't understand, you know, she told you what to do, she explained things. Yes, sometimes the timing was a little off, but it wasn't the worst thing. Now Ghost is a little bit better about that. He's not only telling us what to do, but he's also a voice. And it seems so far as the game progresses that Ghost is pretty good about helping our player kind of voice on what they feel on things. Not on everything. No, there are definitely some differences that it's like, no, this wouldn't, I wouldn't say this, my character wouldn't say this. At the ship, right before we go to the, get out of the Cosmodrome. Is it the last one?
All right. To go. Let me see if I can get us out of here.
It's been here a while. Hasn't made a jump in centuries. We're lucky the Fallen haven't completely picked it clean.
Will it fly?
I can make it work. Okay, it's not going to break orbit, but it just might get us to the city. Now, above that transmitter. Bringing you in. We can come back for them when you're ready. Let's get you home.